Right now on the National Weather Desk, tracking Debby. The former hurricane is now bringing relentless rainfall to the southeast. More flooding is expected. Our team of meteorologists and reporters has you covered along the coast.
It's the actual push of water onshore from an approaching tropical system.
We'll also help you better understand how these types of storms create dangerous storm surge.
This has been the most drastic domoic acid event that I've seen in the 10 years that I've been here.
And a red tide is poisoning animals along the Pacific coast.
Bring your kids, grandkids, everyone. This is once in a lifetime because they will migrate. They'll go to some other place. So catch it while you can.
And details on birds putting on a show near Austin, Texas.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Mark Pena. Debby is still a tropical storm this morning, packing maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. But that's not the headline. The big story is the relentless rainfall. The latest radar shows the heaviest rain is now falling along the southern South Carolina coastline. But as you can see, Debby's outer bands stretch up into North Carolina and as far south as southern Florida. Debby is expected to linger over Georgia and South Carolina over the next few days. Rainfall could exceed 20 inches in many places and even more in low-lying areas. That will likely lead to significant flooding. So far, at least 5 deaths are blamed on the storm. Thousands are without power, but those numbers are likely to rise. That's because the ground will be so saturated, leading to more trees falling on power lines. Florida meteorologist Lauren Oleski is tracking Debby for us this morning.
To monitor what is now tropical storm Debby, weakening since yesterday. Winds are down to 45 miles per hour. However, this is going to bring catastrophic rainfall across parts of Georgia and the Carolinas over the next few days, nearly stalling off of the coastline between today and early in the day on Thursday, then finally moving onshore and weakening as it moves across parts of the mid-Atlantic states and towards the northeast. But again, it's the rainfall that's going to be a significant problem for these areas. Right now, tropical storm warnings are in effect along the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. The offshore waters of North Carolina have a tropical storm watch currently in effect. We've also got a tornado watch issued for parts of the this area, coastal South Carolina.
We have crews in Myrtle Beach and Charleston, South Carolina. We'll hear from them in just a minute. But we start with Valerie Bell in Savannah, Georgia.
Good morning. It's been a lot of rain. It picks up and then it kind of tapers off a little bit, but never completely stops. That's why flooding is, of course, the major concern out here. We're not seeing those strong winds that we were seeing last night. Just to kind of give you an idea where we're at, we're on River Street. It's in the downtown area. Just see some of the accumulation right here. This is similar to what we're seeing on the roadway. It's about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. And that's similar to what we're seeing on the road right there. Although the curfew has been lifted, we haven't seen a single car out here, obviously because of the concerns with flooding. We spoke to some people at the hotel this morning and they said that they weren't going anywhere, and I don't blame them.
We are at the Charleston City Market in downtown Charleston, and on a typical day, the city market is full of vendors, full of tourists, full of people going to lunch. But that is not going to happen anytime soon. As you can see, we've got Debby here, and it's going to be here for a few days. Now, looking at my feet, you can tell the market is always easily flooded. Follow me this way, So when we first got here at 4 a.m. this morning, no rain, no nothing on the roads. It was actually, looked like a normal day. Now, as soon as we got to about 5 a.m., I came over to this side of the road by the market, and I stuck my tape measure down in the flood, and I measured about 2 inches. I can show you now, in the same spot, we're about up to 14. So we're gonna go ahead and move back inside. As you can see right now, no one else out on the roads. That's the way it should be. That's because Mayor William Cogswell issued a curfew yesterday evening from 11 p.m. to noon.
So far, we haven't seen a ton of rain out here yet. We've got a little bit of puddles forming, but not much. But it is very, very windy at this time. I'm having to hold on to my hat out here. We're seeing that all those street lights are moving. They're shaking. The trees are going. We've had a couple trash cans blowing around out here as well. As we're continuing to go and watch for rain, again, we haven't seen a lot of it coming down. It's coming down in, bits as it goes along, but majority of it has been dry, but the wind is definitely picking up as we go on through the morning.
The amount of rain expected from Debby is unique. The slow-moving storm could dump levels of rain rarely seen in hurricanes. Meteorologist Emily Gracie spoke with an official from the National Hurricane Center about why this storm is dropping so much rain.
What we're expecting with Tropical Storm Debby is that the system is going to start moving very slowly. And as a result of this is what the major impact that we are expecting is the rainfall. Right now, we are expecting that this rain is going to end by Saturday morning. And we are expecting between 6 to 12 inches in the northern part of Florida and in some areas of Georgia. But the biggest amount of rainfall are going to be between Savannah and Charleston. And we are expecting in this area between 10 to 20 inches. And it can go as high as 30. So we are expecting historic rainfall amounts.
Is there any end in sight? A lot of these computer models have this just kind of sitting for days, right? What's kind of the timeline here?
Look how slow this storm is going to be moving. So it's going to be moving on Wednesday. And this is going to be going again to South Carolina on Thursday morning. So this is why we are expecting all these rainfalls to last at least until Saturday morning. So it's going to be a very slow moving tropical storm that is going to produce a lot of rainfall.
People love to compare to old storms. Is there something comparable here that we're going to look back and say, oh, Debby was a lot like this?
We don't like to compare storms because no storm is alike. But what we are going to be sure is there is a 70% chance that this amount of rainfall is going to actually happen. So this is going to be historic for the area. So we are asking people to be ready, follow all the emergency management guidance, and take this our system seriously.
Now, when it comes to hurricanes, it's typically storm surge that can cause the greatest risks to human life. To get a better understanding of storm surge and just what makes it so dangerous, we turn to meteorologist Jennifer Collins.
When we talk about storm surge, it's the actual push of water onshore from an approaching tropical system. And it's the sea level rise above normal tide levels. Now, if a storm surge approaches at high tide, we'll actually see worse effects for many coastal communities. A 6-foot storm surge will actually reach above normal dry ground and can actually work its way inland. A 12-foot storm surge will actually reach the first level of many homes and businesses, and crashing waves on top of that is when we start to see structural damage occur. There's many factors to storm surge, and the most important includes the shape of a coastline. A faster moving storm can actually produce a higher storm surge along an open coastline. We're talking barrier islands. Meanwhile, a slower moving storm can actually produce a higher storm surge for bays and inlets as the water gradually builds in these areas, and it doesn't really have anywhere to go other than into rivers, inlets, or canals. And there's many other slight changes that can occur with a storm that can change what type of storm surge we'll see, whether it's the intensity of a storm. Major hurricanes bring a higher storm surge, as well as the path or direction of an actual storm. So it's very important to pay attention to the forecast for storm surge.
And for all the latest on Debby, be sure to check us out on social media. We also post the latest content from our team of 200 meteorologists from across the country. Just search the National Weather Desk on your favorite social media platform. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll find out why 6 sea lions and dolphins have been washing up on California beaches. and will help you better understand urban heat islands.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn with a look at the Northeast. As we head through the day today, we'll see several rounds of rain throughout the region. Notice the first I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn with a look at the Northeast. As we head through the day today, we'll see several rounds of rain throughout the region. Notice the first
Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Let's talk rainbows. This is known as a fire rainbow, but it's technically a circumhorizontal arc. It's formed by the refraction of sunlight and ice crystals suspended in the air. This rainbow may seem incomplete, but there's a good reason. It won't reach the ground until the rain reaches the ground. And double rainbows like this form when sunlight is reflected twice within the same raindrop.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
6 sea lions, dolphins, and even crabs have been washing up on California beaches lately. Scientists say it's because of something known as a red tide event, which poisons the animals. Liz Gonzalez explains what's happening.
A sea lion this close to people at Pismo Beach is enough to make some stop and take pictures. But take a closer look and you'll see it's not doing well. Just one of over 70 sea lions, the Marine Mammal Center says, have been coming on shore, exhibiting symptoms of domoic acid poisoning, a result of red algal bloom in the water.
This has been the most drastic domoic acid event that I've seen in the 10 years that I've been here.
Maddie Riddell with California State Parks says it's been a busy 2 weeks for crews from San Luis Obispo County down to Santa Barbara County.
It is something that tends to happen when the weather gets a little bit warmer. The algae kind of thrives in that warmer water conditions.
Fish like sardines and anchovies eat the microscopic algae that produces the toxic acid, and sea lions and other creatures eat the fish, leading to this, acid attacking the brain and heart.
You'll see some signs in sea lions such as frothing at the mouth, They tend to do like a head wave back and forth, and some of them will also have seizures.
And it's not just sea lions. Some have shared videos of dolphins having seizures. Crabs have washed ashore too. According to the Marine Mammal Center, the toxin will naturally flush from an animal system over time. But since a sea lion's diet consists of a lot of fish, there's repeated exposure. Those with more serious cases are being rescued, like these at Vandenberg Space Force Base, and taken to the center's hospital in Sausalito, where some are given fluids to help with their recovery. While the number of cases is at its peak, it's all hands on deck. Signs under the Pismo Pier make it clear to stay away, while Riddell and others with state parks educate people on what's happening and why.
Now, sometimes you don't need a lot of ingredients to get a thunderstorm, and if conditions are right, storms can fire up quickly, even on days where the risk is rather low. Meteorologist Dante Ricci looks at what can happen when that stray thunderstorm forms for only a brief period of time.
Thunderstorms require certain specific things to happen in order for them to form. In fact, a thunderstorm is a circulation. It's rising warm air. And when that warm air is also very humid, containing a lot of moisture, higher levels of the sky into that updraft.
When severe thunderstorms strike, so can lightning. Meteorologist Teresa Carter explains how it forms.
Lightning is fascinating to watch, but also extremely dangerous. So how does lightning develop? Well, water droplets and ice particles inside a cloud carry electrical charges. Some of those charges are positive and others are negative. Lightning occurs when too many charges of one kind build up in a cloud. Now, for example, there may be too many negative charges in the lower part of the cloud that are also charges on the ground. They can also be positive or negative. Because opposite charges attract, the excess negative charges in the cloud want to join the positive charges on the ground. Now, as the cloud grows, so does the strength of the charges. Eventually, the charges overpower the air, and the cloud releases a strong negatively charged electrical current. As the negative current heads toward the ground, a positively charged current jumps from the ground to meet it. When the currents join, a bright flash is created that heads back up toward the cloud. This is a lightning flash. Now, when extra charges build up again, another lightning flash occurs. Now, in addition to the cloud to ground lightning that most people are familiar with, lightning can occur within a cloud, between clouds, or between a cloud and the air.
My hometown, Austin, Texas, has long been known as America's bat capital, but there's another group of flying creatures putting on a spectacular show in a nearby suburb. Meteorologist Chicago Windler takes us there.
You can kind of see they have pointed wings, kind of swept back pointed wings. You can start to hear them maybe.
No, these aren't bats. They're North America's largest swallow. Spectators set up lawn chairs and cameras in this Round Rock, Texas parking lot to do something you'd typically expect at a nature preserve.
Somehow these birds figured out that there's not too many predators here, so they decided to make this their home. And it's just wonderful to be right in the middle of suburban Austin.
Shahid Ullah couldn't believe how many purple martins flew in.
I would say better than Congress Avenue bats. It's just so up close and fantastic atmosphere. Purple ice cream from Amy's. What else can you ask for?
That's right, the party included purple ube flavored ice cream, a big hit on a hot night.
Well, we like to think our Purple Martin parties are a thing.
Travis Audubon volunteer Sheila Hargis says the birds are native, but they can't stay here year-round.
They breed here, and then because they eat insects, they can't spend our winter up here, and so they all fly to South America, most of them to Brazil, and then they come again.
But of all places, why roost in a shopping center?
This is a typical habitat for their roost, the inland roost, and they like these open areas that have these groups of trees that a bunch of birds can spend the night in.
This summer's recent milder temps and rain are likely helping the purple martin population.
We're really guessing when we say 200,000, 250,000, 300,000. We've had a really good season as far as a lot of grasshoppers and crickets and other insects. So you would think that would be, easy pickings for the birds.
The magnitude of the birds coming in and flying around is like they were giving us a show. It was so exciting.
Usually by late August or early September, all the birds have passed through.
Bring your kids, grandkids, everyone. Catch it while you can.
And it doesn't get any more convenient than a parking lot. For the National Weather Desk, I'm Chicago Windler in Round Rock, Texas.
And time now for a short break, but first let's soar over Pennsylvania's Gallatin State Forest.
Well, a very good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. High temperatures in the 70s across a lot of the Midwest. Still hotter, though, to the south here. We got 90s all the way across the southern part of the map here with some scattered strong to severe storms across the northern Ohio Valley for the day today. Got some showers and storms trying to sneak their way into the northern plains on Wednesday, but everyone cooling down a little bit over the next several days here. Even got us some high temperatures in the 60s potentially on Thursday up there in Bismarck.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at our forecast across the region. It's more summer heat here in early August. We'll start in the 70s. We'll be in the upper 90s, lower 100s across the region. Can't rule out a very isolated shower closer to the coast, but otherwise it's going to be dry for the next several days. So 70s in the morning again to start your Wednesday, and then we'll be back in the upper 90s to lower 100s. High is about 105 across West Texas expected on your Wednesday afternoon.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. It is early August, and the summer heat goes on, especially in the desert Southwest with 114 in Las Vegas and big heat advisories and excessive heat warnings underway versus a cool 69 because of the marine layer. That's the fog blowing through the Golden Gate Bridge this time of year. High pressure still in charge. We've got wildfire danger and poor air quality, especially in the Pacific Northwest. And that's the scene from here.
The National Weather Desk.
Now, when it comes to how hot it is outside, there are many factors. If you live in an urban area, if you live in an urban area, the thermometer could be several degrees higher than those living in more rural areas. This is due to something called an urban heat island. Meteorologist Alex Garcia explains.
Much of the heat we feel can be connected to the urban heat island effect.
A recent study showed that nearly 34 million people in the United States live in areas where the temperature feels at least 8 degrees hotter because of it. Here in San Antonio, 1.2
Meteorologist Alex Garcia explains.
Much of the heat we feel can be connected to the urban heat island effect. A recent study showed that nearly 34 million people in the United States live in areas where the temperature feels at least 8 degrees hotter because of it. Here in San Antonio, 1.2
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Mark Pena. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.